Capricorn. Hello, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Collective. This is going to be your December shift reading. So we're looking at the shape you're shifting out of this month, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like. Cap, the image that's coming to me for you is you kicking a soccer ball up against a wall by yourself. And you're a little like, it's a very internal space that you're in. You're kind of bouncing an idea off of the wall or like a concept or a thought or something you're wrestling with internally up against your own wall and like volleying it with yourself versus the other image I got, which is you then like realizing, oh wait, instead of kicking this ball around by myself inside my own head, perhaps I could take this and volley it off of someone else and maybe I'll get more feedback, or like maybe I'll have a more reciprocal experience rather than just like knocking something up against your own walls over and over in this sort of repetitive way. It's like if you pass the ball to someone else and then they pass it back to you, it somehow changes the situation. It could give you insight that you weren't expecting, or like that person could pass it back to you in a way that changes your response. It's like it shifts the dynamic. It shifts the tone of whatever it is you're wrestling with if you take it out of your own internal cycling and like allow someone else to volley it with you. Allow someone else to be part of your own internal dialogue. And then I saw you take it even further from just one person into like a group of people, and then suddenly it's a team sport and like you're all playing and the ball is being passed between lots of people and it becomes an incredibly dynamic experience. Okay, so there's this process of taking something out of your own internal, alone, solo process and taking it to somebody else so that there can be more of an exchange, or maybe even taking it to a larger group of people. And this is interesting, factoring into your cards. So we're using the new Fifth Spirit Tarot here by Charlie Claire Burgess, and it's been really fun to get to know this deck with you over these December shifts. So here's your shape shift. You're shifting out of the Tower and into the Six of Pentacles. Now the Six of Pentacles came through for Taurus. It's been coming through a lot, and it is very much talking about reciprocal, energetic, and resource exchanges. And in fact, I would encourage you to look at the Taurus reading because Capricorn energy came through very strong in that reading. And this is a similar message. It's just a little more personal. I am getting, there's a strong sort of social reading of these cards, but I think it is very personal for you as well here, Cap. So listen, we're looking at the Tower, which looks like the dumpster fire that is 2020. All right. A time of great change, a lot of upheaval, unexpected things going wrong, and the home being this symbol of foundation getting shaken up in some way, getting restructured in some way. Everything that we've come to know as familiar structures is being upended. Okay, so that's sort of this agent of chaos that is the Tower energy. But it seems to be shifting us into the possibility to find more reciprocal exchanges with the Six of Pentacles, because we're seeing a distribution of resources. We're seeing help going where it needs to go. People getting the things that they need to survive. And this is what your shapeshift looks and feels like. We're moving from the Three of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. I love this progression because the Three of Swords, especially after the Tower, it's talking about healing. And I like in the Three of Swords that there's three needles ready to sew up these wounds, the damage, because it's speaking to me that it's not your internal emotional process and your internal journey of healing and working through pain is not something that you have to do, nor should you do it alone. Like, this is a huge message that came through in the Taurus reading was, you don't have to do this alone, nor should you. And like, that's a larger message for all of us, I think, collectively, is, hey, not only should we stop trying to do everything alone and like in this individualistic mindset, but it would be a huge shift in our society to start to think in terms of what benefits the group. And I'm seeing that happening for you on a very personal level. Realizing that whatever is happening is perhaps too big for you to process alone, too big for you to repair it alone. And so here we see other sort of interestingly unseen or invisible hands are implied here, grabbing these sewing needles and helping to stitch things back together. And I'm really seeing that as you realizing that you can kick the soccer ball against the wall all day, but it's just going to keep bouncing back and hitting you in the same way. And if you take it to somebody else, they're going to send it back to you with a different idea or a different energy. And then you can actually make some progress with it. You could travel with that ball and kick it up and down the field together. So I think this is an expansion of your ideas around your emotional processes. And there could be a belief present here that says, my emotional energy has to be processed completely alone. Or I have to do all of my internal processing by myself. And it's like, no, actually, this healing can happen much more efficiently if you do it with other people. And maybe more effectively if you do it with other people. I mean, we could be talking about different like therapeutic approaches that offer, one-on-one or multiple people involved in a therapeutic scenario, okay? Or it could just be as simple as sharing how you're feeling with someone you're close to, And then, interestingly, we have the Nine of Pentacles here, which is being shown as a feast, an absolute feast. And it's like, it's kind of bothering me in this reading that it's this huge feast set for one. I mean, that is a really strong image to be looking at when we are approaching a holiday season in COVID, so I just want to acknowledge that too, that like there is a sense of being alone or being more alone than many of us have been in the past. So there's certainly some pain associated with like celebrating something alone. But for the sake of this reading, I think the Ace of Pentacles is offering you a new, more sustainable way of like a more sustainable potential, a more sustainable possibility of how you could work through some of this emotional stuff. And what's great about this is it's this onion, which is so multi-layered. And it's like, once you start unwrapping it, you realize there's layers and layers and layers and layers to this. It's like you, I think, Capricorn, it's like I'm seeing this onion as the same thing as your heart. It is this very deep, multi-layered emotional experience here. And I think the Ace of Pentacles is offering to you or posing to you that like, what if you allowed other people to be part of your internal emotional experience, even when your internal emotional experience is painful. And here we have this shift from having to sort of digest and process all of this by yourself versus the redistributing some of that energy and allowing other people to hold it. You know, I'm seeing this as you like unpacking the contents of your heart and like allowing multiple other sources to hold that with you. So it's not just all something that you have to deal with by yourself. And I'm also getting this like really lovely thing too, is that, you know, this feast energy, I mean, first of all, the Nine of Pentacles is typically a very self-sufficient, independent, solo-rooted, strong, autonomous energy, which is Capricorn energy. You know, it is the energy of like, I can do it myself. In fact, I'll probably do it more efficiently by myself. So I'll just do it by myself. You know, like that's the narrative in that Cap way of thinking, typical Cap way of thinking. But it's like, I think there's a deeper possibility, you know, like more layers to unpeel. There's a deeper possibility available to you if you rethink that strategy especially when it comes to your processing your emotional stuff, because actually it might be more efficient to share it with others. And there's something really interesting here about I'm just seeing this as a feast, a beautiful, gorgeous feast contained in your heart. You know, it's like you possess so much richness and like deliciousness inside of you. And that is worthy of being shared with others. And I think many of us tend to think, myself included in this, that it's sort of a little Jekyll and Hyde energy. You know, it's like, this is the energy I'm happy to share with other people. These are the parts of myself, not so much. Like, this is something that, you know, there's shame attached to this. Like, this is something that other people shouldn't have to deal with about me. And it's like, but that's not a reciprocal volley of energy. That's you kicking the ball against the wall, against your own wall over and over and over. Take it in, allow other people to hold it with you, and you may find that these things begin to blend in a really fruitful way. And that doesn't take away from your autonomy or your self-sufficiency. It redistributes the energy so that it's more equal and balanced. Okay, beautiful, Cap. We're going to take this into an extended reading now. So if this is resonating with you, stick around. There'll be a little preview of the extended that you can check out and make sure it's resonating with you. If it is, and you'd like to view that extended reading, go to unseenhandscollective.com, where you can find it in the shop. You can find it as part of the monthly memberships. Also, you can check out your shift scope and shift guidebook to really continue this work of unpacking what is here for you in your December shift. All right, Cap, thanks for being here. This card coming out for you, Cap, because this is you. I mean, every time I get this card, I'm like, this is Capricorn energy, because it's the stag. It is, and it's usually this very, the stag is a very solo energy. That's why we say that phrase, we're going stag, we're going alone. Cap, my goodness. There's these big, beautiful dreams that you have here in this card, and those things can't be reached alone. You can't reach those big picture visions that you've got with a structure that says you have to do it all alone. Like, that's just not gonna work. You can't reach your dreams going stag.